My high school experience was exhausting. I was constantly saying yes to everything. I was trying to juggle cross country, school, my friendships, my family relationships, church. Everything in my life was at an all time max. I was doing everything that I could in every situation, and I was getting very overwhelmed and overloaded, to be honest. And I experienced burnout in that stage of my life. Because in that stage, I believed that more was more. The more things I said yes to, the more things I committed to, the more recognition and respect I would get from others. And I think a lot of college students fall into burnout because they also believe that more is more. More respect is given by more responsibility, and more respect gets you more networking. And networking is everything. Networking is your future. And I think all college students feel this pressure because future is everything in college. I want to look at the connection between overload and between burnout in college students by looking at articles written by experts in order to prove that this mindset is commonplace in many college students. So I'm going to look at why or how the majority of students deal with burnout due to overload, how burnout can be avoided if students learn their limits, and how different the college experience would look if students said no. The first point that I'm going to look at is why the majority of students deal with burnout due to overload. President Davis, our president at UCA, gave me a piece of advice to do everything. And this is a mindset that many college students subscribe to. Many students believe that the more things you say yes to, the more opportunities you get. But Oscar Brahman, a highly respected psychology professor at the University of Guam, talks about the relationship between burnout and overload, and he talks about two different terms: satiation, which is the stopping of a response or behavior, and the theory of inhibition, which is the natural balance between attention that can be given before an inevitable distraction. And many students try to take a President Davis approach to their college life. And they believe that the more things they say yes to, the more experiences they get. But truly, Brahman is right. The more things you say yes to, the less attention you can give all of them before you need a break and before you need to stop that behavior before it becomes detrimental to you. And a lot of college students have 1,000 voices influencing them, which is why they try to go with what President Davis is saying. They try to go with what their parents are saying. They try to go with what everyone else is saying in the world. But the voice they need to listen to is the voice of reason. And it can become crowded with all of those other thoughts in their head. And the second point I'm going to talk about is how burnout can be avoided if students learn their limits. The ability to look inward and find your voice of reason has become a lost art because many college students auction away their time. They give it away easily and freely. And Domenica Viana, a media strategist and writer, talks about the hidden fees that come with overloading. He states that you have less time to think, reflect, grow, and learn. And Florida National University created an awareness page to encourage their students to make habits that include respecting themselves, their needs, and their boundaries. And this just reiterates that balancing commitments with yourself and commitments with others is the key to taking the reins over your college experience. Many students don't have an environment of awareness, but if they were to create one, it could restore their entire college journey. So, for my third point, I'm going to talk about how different the college experience would look if students said no. Judith Sills, a psychologist in private practice in Philadelphia, talks about the power of no. The word no recognizes that we are the agents of our own limits. College students that experience burnout allow their parents and the internet and the college that they attend to determine their limits of what they can and can't do. But taking that power back looks like taking a Saturday afternoon to be outside instead of being locked away in the library because they took on too many classes. Taking that power back of no looks like building your planner to balance your life inside of school and outside of school evenly. Taking back the power of no can empower students to restore their journey and to be who they are, which is individuals. And the beauty of being individuals is just that we're all different. We all have our own set of rules and guidelines that we need to go by because we're individuals. And college students that fall into burnout, they've driven themselves past their limits. They've allowed the influences in their life to become decision makers. And college students need to choose their sanity first. They need to make time for the people and the things that matter in their life. And if all students can do this, then the next generation of workers, students, teachers, and parents will have habits of defining their own personal limits.